What's up, North County? We are in the dog pound here with Coach Dan Loney from Atascadero, and we're going to find out what happened last week here with Righetti. Coach, another great game.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Come on. I mean, what's the deal with going down to the very last play of the game at the very last minute of everything?
I don't know, but I'm getting more and more gray hairs, and so long as it stays in my head, I'm okay. But yeah, it's been crazy. Just the resiliency of the kids, the belief that the kids have in each other has just been outstanding.
It was. I got to come and we watched the game, and it was a battle. It was a battle the whole game. The crowd was insane, but you know, the kids on the field, man, they just really performed, and it wasn't an easy task, you know, but it was a battle. It was a battle in the trenches.
For sure, it was. I mean, our kids just absolutely outperformed themselves. I thought they stepped up. They made plays when they needed to make plays, and the great thing it wasn't just one individual. It just shows you like how great the team sport of football is, because it took everybody on our team stepping up and doing something for the team to get that win.
And going into it, you kind of anticipated a little bit of a battle with Righetti. Righetti just always known for, but you know, their record was kind of a little bit on the flip side, you know, compared to you guys. So did you expect the game to go as it did?
I knew it was going to be a battle. You know, you never know who's going to come out on top. You know, weird things happen, momentum swings and all that sort of stuff. You know, I knew we were going to fight, but for us to you know, take it down to, you know, 17-17 and then be able to kick the game winner, you know, you just wouldn't think that would happen twice in one season.
Right? Yeah. So you had Trejo was your quarterback starting off, right? But I saw him in slot a lot last week, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you had number 3 was.
We had Josiah. Josiah was our back, or is our backup.
Okay.
At quarterback, and he's also one of our slot receivers. And so him and Trejo, you know, even in practice, we switch them off back and forth. And we had sat down that weekend before kind of saying, okay, which guy does what best? And we started kind of putting together packages for each other, for them, and
specifically for Righetti.
Just Righetti, but also going forward, you know, for our last 2 games, and then hopefully a nice big playoff run. And so we're trying to maximize the kids' talents as best we could. And so we knew we were going to switch Trejo and Josiah out. Just didn't realize that Josiah was going to end up kind of being that mainstay that game, and that's just how it worked. But you know, like we talked about earlier, that's been the great thing about this team is, you know, they don't care who's where; they just want to win.
And, you know, I think that's really smart because, you know, so many teams are one-dimensional. You know, like we always talk about, who do you have to stop? Oh, we have to stop their quarterback. We have to stop that. Okay, great. Stop the quarterback, game over. And if you have more tools and more ammo, you know, in the chamber, and you can, you know, flip them, you know, it kind of throws the defensive scheme off for the other team.
I mean, that's what we're hoping. And Coach Lane has done a great job of adapting and adjusting our offense to suit our kids. And if you look at our stats now, it's nobody's having a huge breakout game. If you look at the stats, it's, you know, 80 yards here, 100 yards here, 70 yards here. But if you look at who gets it, it's like 4 or 5 different guys that are getting the ball. So, you know, to your point, I would believe that for the defensive coordinator, it's hard to really pinpoint who's going to get it.
Yeah, it's hard to put together a defense and an attack against a team that you don't know which one's going to be in the backfield, you know. And they both, you know, have equal, you know, attack and you know, effect, whether they're in the slot, whether they're behind the center, you know. And so, and obviously one's a lot different in size too, you know.
Yeah, and you know, one's a little bit more experienced, and Mikey's kind of a gunslinger, and Josiah's more tactical and you know, kind of slices people apart, and he's a little bit more explosive on the ground, where Trejo's a little bit more shifty, and so it just gives us one more weapon.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was a great game, and then of course it comes down to I think you guys let it go down to 1.6, 1.4 left in the game.
Yeah.
Again.
Not much, yeah. So that one got a little scary there because I think there was about 30 seconds left on the game clock as it was ticking down. We still had, I think, 1 or 2 timeouts left. Coach Lane called a play, and you're kind of in that sweet zone where it's like, okay, if we can get the play off in time, we can get a timeout. We can get the play. If we score, great. If we don't, we can still get a timeout. And then our kids were kind of moving slow, and we weren't getting the clock down, and it got down to about 7 seconds, 6 seconds or so. And so, if we had run a play and we don't score, game over. So I had to call a timeout before we got the play off, right before we got the play off, and then we went and kicked the field goal. So,
what a pressure! I mean, we talk about pressure. I mean, the kids, he transferred from Paso, right? Mm-hmm. That's all he does is kickoff, which these kids got a leg, but that's all he does, and comes down to 2 game-winning opportunities. Pressure of just this season alone.
Yeah, I mean, he's been awesome for us. It is one of those things that he kind of fell in our lap, and a lot of times you never know with the transfer. Sometimes transfers talk themselves up and they don't have the game that they talk about, and some really pan out, and he's one of those kids that just has really panned out and really helped us. In all aspects. He does our punting, he does our kickoff, he does our PAT and field goals. And so that's given us another dimension that when we get down, around the 20 to 25 to 30, we know that, we don't have to try to take a shot to the end zone. We know that we can, get a field goal at some point and put points on the board. So I think some of that pressure on the offensive side has helped. And we know that when he punts, we can flip the field advantage in our favor too. So
yeah, he has a great spiral punt.
Yeah, and so it's been really helped us in that. So he's been a big part of our success too.
Will you look at that? In high school, you don't really have the high schools that just have a kicker, the field goal kicker that's all they do, right? And so you have another. An attack, that you could use anytime. Like you said, you don't have to go all the way down and, you're 4th and, 12, you've been, kind of dragging, getting to that point. You can kick the field goal.
Yeah, and then, that's been great. And that was one of the ones, when we talked about when we played Templeton, we were, I think at one point, right before half or whatever it was, a 47-yard field goal, but to get the first down, it was 15 yards, and so it was kind of like, if you go punt and it rolls in the end zone, it's a touchback, so there wasn't really much field difference, and so it was one of those things where it was like, hey, let's just give it a shot, and if we score, great. If not, Templeton gets it on the 20. So it's changed our game management quite a bit. So.
What a great opportunity for that. So we always talk about Blast and Brew. So we went over there last week, after the game, and that was pretty cool. That's a pretty cool setup that they, turn on the games and have the after hours, and it was a good amount of people too.
Yeah, I think it helped that we won,
right?
So
that usually helps.
Yeah, but they, the owners and the general manager there and have been great. They open up. They not to kill their work staff, so that they do a limited food selection, but it's a open bar. They have the bar going and TV's going, so we have you walk in, you have that night's college game going, and then when 11:15 rolls around, they turn it over to the local news station, and we play the highlights and hoot and holler, and so it was a real fun night.
It's a great kind of after the game, especially after a win. Go over there, you get to kind of, hang out with the coaches a little bit more in a, off-field, out-of-office type experience, and watch some football and talk about the game. And laugh and joke and get ready for next week.
That was the whole idea behind it, is try to make it more of a community thing. Try to get, make the town, the football team, Atascadero, the high school, has always been a big part of this community, and it was trying to get back into that sense of the small town community and hanging out with everybody and everybody celebrating in the victory.
Awesome, yeah. Well, like I said, if nobody's been to Blast and Brew, they got to go check it out because it's a great atmosphere. The food is awesome and great service. I've never ever had bad service there. So.
No, it was good.
So you guys travel over to Morro Bay tonight, nice and moist and wet and all that stuff. So what are you looking for? What are you going to expect?
All of the above. There's a lot of things that is special to Morro Bay. They're right up against the water, so you're going to get some fog. Like you said, you're going to get a wet field. You're going to get a lot of moisture, and kind of depending on how that marine layer comes in. Sometimes it comes in really thick, and it's hard to see the opposite side of the field. Sometimes you get some wind, so we're mentally trying to prepare the kids for all the above scenarios with the wet field, and then on top of that, they're a good, well-coached team. They throw the ball all over the place. I think they have something like 2,400 yards, 2,500 yards passing right now. And I don't think they've thrown, except for maybe one game, under 250 yards in the air. So, they throw the ball all over the place, and that's caused us to have to shift some things on defense and put in some new coverages, and so we're preparing for that pass attack.
Yeah, when we played Morro Bay, the Achilles heel was right over the middle, and I mean that kid had a great slant route. I mean it was just, I think there was they had 2 touchdowns on that right across the middle, and it was a great play, and the kid can throw it accurately. That kid has an arm. He does.
Yeah, he does. It's the quarterback's the coach's son, and he plays like a coach's son. He knows what to do and where to go, and he's well coached and well versed, and what they do in the passing game they do all year, and so being able to run routes in 7-on-7, they know where the soft spots in the defense are, and they know how to break their routes off, and the quarterback knows where that receiver is going to break his routes off, and so it poses a big challenge for us.
So they've got a 350-pound, 6'8" senior, number 79, and he plays obviously plays on the line. So how have you worked that into your game plans tonight? Both because he plays both on offense and defense.
Yeah, he plays primarily on offense, but he does get in on defense, and we don't, with the way they run things, they pass set quite a bit. So, we're going to try to get some speed on him and see if we can get around the corner and get the edge on him on the defensive side. And then for us offensively, we're just going to do what we do with our offense, with the misdirection and all that sort of stuff. It really lends to having bigger, slower guys because we can pin and pull, and we can block guys down and pull around, so that's not going to change much what we do offensively.
Okay. What about is everybody healthy this week, or
it's been another?
Where are we at?
Every day's been a new adventure.
I don't recall seeing anybody going out last week.
Nobody really went out. They were all out before the game.
Okay.
And that was the other cool, great thing that we were able to see. We were down about 5 starters last week in the Righetti game, and so it was kind of I think we talked about last week. It was next man up, and we had a lot of guys that didn't think they were going to play or weren't going to have a huge role in it, and they ended up playing majority of the snaps, whether it was at corner, at safety, at receiver, at line. Again, we started a new line, so we didn't have the same configuration as we had last week, and same thing going into this week. So but with all the adversity, that was just the cool thing to see, is that kids stepped up. Guys that you weren't sure if they were going to step up did step up and made plays when it mattered, and we needed them. So that's what we were saying at the beginning, was it was just a total team effort, because the guys that we started the season with that are you know, our stars, you know, half of them were out, and these other kids that were JV guys last year are stepping up and are new stars that are starting to emerge.
And it's good to see. You know, hopefully, you know, at the end of the season, before you go into playoffs, everybody's back together and, you know, injury free, and then what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You're not gonna know what to do.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'll take that over what we've been doing. At least, you know, mentally and you know, keeping me calm if we have more kids than what we need. So, but it's just been good to see the kids step up and doing the right things at practice and being prepared for the game so that they can be successful.
Awesome. Well, Coach, any last words?
No, it's going to be a good game tonight, and looking forward to being in Morro Bay. Probably won't get any clam chowder, but you know.
And if you're going to get any tri-tip sandwiches, you got to get there early because they ran out. I think the tri-tips were gone at the beginning of the varsity game.
Yeah, they have some good tri-tip there too. So
yeah, awesome, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Appreciate it.
And hopefully we'll continue that win streak. No blast and brew tonight, though.
No blast and brew tonight. We have 2 away games to finish out the year, and we'll see what happens with the playoff seeding.
Awesome. Well, good luck tonight.
Appreciate it.
Well, there you have it, guys. Hey, make sure you guys get on over there to Morro Bay and support your Hounds. We'll see you on the field.